first episode of this new podcast. We've had some technical difficulties getting this started, but hopefully this is the one. New podcast because we want to start sharing more of what we are doing behind the scenes on TikTok, sharing some of the things we're learning, what our clients are succeeding with. And yeah, let me start by doing a quick intro as to who we are. So the company is called Young With Solutions. We provide TikTok education and services for direct to consumer brands. We've been in the game since 2019, and over the years, we've been fortunate to work with major brands like Gymshark, Duolingo, Amazon, Converse, Olaplex, and that is amongst 400 other brands that we've helped in total. And we have been fortunate to help in a number of verticals: content creation, influencer marketing, TikTok Shop, which is more new, and media buying. So yeah, this is a new podcast. We want to share what we've learned. We're calling it Diary of Campaigns and Tactics. I am joined with my co-host Pedro, and in this podcast, which we will keep short and easy, we're going to hit on a number of topics. The trends that we are currently seeing on TikTok. We're shooting this 4 days before Black Friday. For D2C, this is the time to be marketing. So we're going to talk about how you can capitalize on Black Friday, what are the current trends that we're seeing on social media, and how brands can apply them, as well as what are some of the latest success stories that we're seeing internally.
You're here. Let's go. Episode 1, baby. Let's make it to episode 2.
I know. If we
This
do 20
is
episodes, we'll be like in the 1% of all podcasts.
wild. This
So,
has been
yeah.
we've been theorizing on this moment for months, guys. So this is hopefully, let's not add too much pressure on our shoulders, but hopefully this is something special or semi-special. I'm good with
Yeah.
semi-special.
I think keeping it casual and not overthinking it is the key to being consistent here. So yeah, exciting new venture though, and hopefully these are clips we can repurpose for all of our social media platforms. So that's also the goal here, is to have an omnipresence from long form to short form. Alrighty, so let's hop into the first section, which is trends and news on TikTok. Now, at the time of recording this, one of the big trends that we're seeing across social media is the chill dude meme. You've probably seen this, but let me share my screen so we're all having eyes on. Okay, can you see the screen?
Beautiful.
Okay, so this is one of the brands that we always like to look into because they are so in touch with that community and with the current social media dynamics. And the chill dude is this guy that you've probably seen all over. Now, the beauty is that this is dead simple. This is just a chill guy. And what I love is how easy it is for these brands to use this trend to be relevant in culture and just capitalize on that momentum. And as you can see, this has tremendous engagement compared to their other posts. 9,000 likes, and that was posted 5 days ago.
This is one of those trends where I think a part of the charm is it's so simple that any industry, any niche of brand can adapt it to them. It isn't something where you could see this being applicable to a beauty or a supplement or a personal development or a consumer electronics brand very easily. It's probably one of my favorite memes of the year, actually.
Me too.
Well done.
Yeah, I actually relate to that quite a lot. I'm just a chill dude, but yeah, they use that in so many other ways, and I'm just showing this one brand as an example, going from a meme to posting it as jewelry. They're going super viral with it, and sometimes social media is really not that complicated. So that's one great example. Now let's see, do we have more trends?
We've got the there's that trend. I think Gordon Ramsay did it. Everyone's doing it where it's you voice a very strong opinion and then it's the opposite, that is you voice an opinion that favors a party and it's actually that party filming it.
Yeah, exactly. Let me pull it up here as well.
Love this.
So this is the trend. This is kind of the trend that started it all from Tyler Lautner, and it goes like this. Can you hear this?
Yeah, I think it's this one though. We get the gist though.
Yeah, and hold on, let me see if I can. Oh wait, this is not working.
Technical
Because that same
difficulties.
concept been used by quite a lot of other brands. So this is one of the, I forget his name, the guy from One Direction, Joe Jonas. Guys, we need to start recognizing that our younger siblings are basically always right. And yeah, they just switch the camera. So this is like really cool if you just want to voice like a controversial opinion, but then not put the blame completely on you. And yeah, it's gotten really popular with Gordon Ramsay featuring it, Joe Jonas, like I just said, and it's also something that a lot of brands can capitalize on easily.
I think the underlying theme, and it's something that we definitely see with a lot of trends day in, day out, is say keyword is versatility, where I think a lot of brands shy away from taking advantages of these moments because they're so caught up in protecting this image, protecting this angel-like presence that they've developed for themselves, where it's just you just gotta let go. You just gotta be a chill guy. You just need to go
Yeah.
with the flow sometimes, not overthink, especially around Black Friday. I think everyone gets very cynical with what they're putting
Yeah.
out. It gets a lot of pressure is built up internally very quickly. For
Yeah.
sometimes rightly so, most of the times for no reason. Or for a reason that isn't justified.
Yeah. Yeah, no, people want the brands that they follow to be funny, man. This is what we see Duolingo do so well, or the brand that I was just showing, Sonucci. They're just being satirical, they're having fun with it, and the audience relates to that. So it's particularly with something like Black Friday, like you want to lean into this unhinged persona and yeah, just have fun with your audience. Ultimately, people are on social media to be entertained, not to be sold to. So meet them with those expectations and entertain them just through funny content. We have
For a
countless
guy that
examples.
has Yeah, no, totally. I mean, for a guy though that has, I mean, you have 3 million followers of your own. I think you're one of those people who people will stop you on the street and ask you a question about TikTok and ask you for the one thing that they need to do right on TikTok if they were to grow their own channel or grow their own platform. Why do you think brands, even brands that have perhaps more sensitive products or talk about issues that are perhaps a bit more flagrant, why do you think there's such a difficulty with brands just letting go, just going with the flow sometimes or realizing it's not that serious all the time?
Well, most of the brand owners that we talk to, at least, are not Gen Z, and historically they have had to build their brand through retail or perhaps Instagram, which is a platform where you want to be more polished. TikTok is really flipping that on its head, where authenticity thrives, and and we're seeing, yeah, the pendulum shift back from high production to now just low production. Filming on the spot, capturing raw human reactions. That's what people want, and and the millennials and the generations before that are just having a hard time to let go of what they know has worked for them historically. Adapting is always I think it's Elon Musk that said that one of the signs that you're getting old is your reluctance to change, and this is why he doesn't want people to be immortal, because people don't change their mind; they just die, which is quite brutal. But I think there's a lot of truth to that, just in the sense that you're used to certain ways and you think that they are right indefinitely, which frankly is not the case, and yeah, it's either you adapt or you die.
It's so interesting because we see the difference even just with how teams operate around launch, when videos start going out on the account, when, say, the contrast of behavior before a viral moment and after a viral moment, where before the viral moment, we cannot test anything, we cannot change, right? We cannot tarnish this, even if a very limited amount of people on this planet in this day know about the brand. There's just this reluctance of expanding and going out and actually learning on what does attract views and what does your audience want to see, where the moment something goes viral, that paradigm flips very easily, where it's okay, let's test as many things as possible. That shell, if you will, to change evaporates, for lack of a better way of putting it.
Yeah, yeah. I always say this, but it's always the videos you expect to underperform that ends up going viral, and vice versa. The videos you put a lot of effort in usually flop. So this is why you want to prioritize quantity at first before putting in quality. Like, quality will come as a consequence of doing so many videos that you understand exactly what works. So this is also why we're doing this podcast, kind of just free styling it, because we'll get better by just doing more of it, not trying to get it perfect on the first go.
Do you think people care if the brand, like, again, to a certain extent, I say this with a certain degree where you can't, there's a certain limit to this, but assuming that the brand is operating within every realm of ethical behavior, do you think their audience cares if they mess up on a video? Whether it's, I don't know, an idea that flops or a spelling mistake or maybe a joke doesn't land properly. Again, operating within the realms of ethical behavior is the question,
Yeah,
but
I think this is called the spotlight syndrome, where you think that everybody is meticulously watching your every move and they always think about you, but really no one thinks about you just as much as you do, if that makes sense. And so if you make a grammatical error, or if you post at the wrong time, or your brand colors is slightly off, no one is going to notice that apart from you. I would actually argue that, especially if you're small and still testing out, these are ways in which you can increase engagement. I know this one TikToker that would pronounce countries the wrong way. So he would say like Italy instead of Italy. And his only reason for doing that is so that people would comment, making fun of him. But that is more engagement, and the algorithm pushed his videos. So obviously, this is not a standard that everyone that brands can probably take, but it just shows that at times you can have these little almost intentional mistake or intentional ways to get the audience to react and engage in conversations.
it's interesting because we are filming this first episode right before Black Friday. uh, delayed by 4 months because the whole team has been all hands on deck this whole year, almost in anticipation to Black Friday. And it's interesting how these pockets of space come up, but even more so during a period like the holidays or Black Friday, where if people by default aren't necessarily meticulous in watching your every move, that becomes even more so accurate during these times of the year where a million more things are happening. Whether you're a consumer, whether you're a brand, there's Christmas shopping that's happening. Everybody wants to get work done before they go on vacation. The kids are getting off of school. We don't know how we're going to be keeping the kids at home for 2 weeks while they're out of school. There's just so many different things. People are almost looking for that more vibrant or colorful message or colorful piece of content to look at rather than, I don't know, discriminate every single detail of a video.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and again, yeah, I think even some of the brands that are doing well right now, like Surreal, is a cereal brand that's doing really good in the UK, and their whole marketing angle is to be super direct about the fact that they are selling their audience something. Like literally, their headlines are like, um, "We sell you these cereals" or something along those lines. So I think that we have gone to one end of the spectrum in trying to be super careful about the messaging and so on. And this is, I think, what walked in the millennial era, which was a couple years ago. But now with Gen Z, they just want brands that are funny, more bold, more direct, even if it's messy at times. And yeah, even another example that I can think of is Liquid Death, where what they do as their advertisements is literally hateful comments. They take hateful comments about their brand, which is like basically, how can you sell canned water for like $6? And then it's a bunch of hateful context. And they literally use that as a screenshot and post it as their ad. So it's kind of like this
Yeah.
anti-best practice that just people have fun with, and they like that Liquid Death has this unhinged persona. So yeah.
Definitely. Do you envision that staying in 2025? That unhinged sort of persona? Do you think that's a long-term inflection in behavior, or do you believe it's a fad that's gonna evaporate tomorrow, if you will?
No, I think this is a market dynamic that is here to stay for the next few years. Obviously, different generations and different platforms will probably drive change, but right now the consumer market is driven by Gen Z trends, which initiate on TikTok, hence the relevance of this conversation. yeah, what we're talking about here are not just like what's gonna happen tomorrow or the wave to ride for the next week. It's more so consumer behavior for the months to come. I mean, for the years to come. Yeah, but in other news, have you seen the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight?
That was crazy. That was nuts.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Did you
yeah,
watch it on
I
Netflix
think
or what?
Netflix. Yeah, I watched it on Netflix, and that was crazy in and of itself just to see Netflix hosting a live event. I don't know if that's a new thing from Netflix, but that was the first ever live event that I saw from them. But I think content-wise, notably on TikTok, it's just if you want to talk about a successful pre-launch, wow. I don't
Right.
know.
Yeah.
Because how long was that fight being advertised, directly and indirectly? It must have been a
Yeah.
year, if not 6 months at
Yeah. Yeah.
least.
At least. Yeah. 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 I think they got a. It was funny because for me it was early morning my time, so I was able to try and watch it live. I don't know why I have the paid Netflix, but I didn't watch it through Netflix. So I tried to watch it on YouTube. You know how you can watch like these UFC fights, like these streamers that go live and try to stream the fight on YouTube. So I went on that, and funnily enough, the streamers had like 1 million viewers at a time. It like the numbers were insane. But then everyone started to complain, and this is one of the big criticism that Netflix got is that their streaming service was basically so laggy, and like half of the
Yeah.
fight was pretty much like chopped out. Or just super laggy because they couldn't handle the amount of viewers that they had. But and also so I try to watch the fight on YouTube, and ultimately the streams get taken down, which is kind of like expected because these companies obviously don't want viewers to watch for free. They want to have a pay-per-view, etc. And so I try to look for alternatives, and this is the first time I do this. But I had to TikTok live, and there were countless of. I mean, everyone was just streaming it, and the flow was perfect, like no latency. Again, like millions of viewers on every stream.
It's
But I
so
thought it was
wild.
interesting. Like it was the first time I looked at like a live event on TikTok,
Yeah.
and these didn't get shut down. So yeah, pro tip for the next UFC fight.
Yeah.
You
The
know,
funny the funny thing in all of that is that you had Netflix paid. That's what makes the
yeah,
story.
yeah, yeah,
Percent. I mean, for anyone that was I was going through those legs, like there was no tomorrow. And after round two, nobody really missed much going through the legs
yeah,
either way.
yeah,
I think,
yeah,
yeah, the TikTok lives. I mean, that's probably going to merit a podcast episode in and of themselves, just TikTok lives. But I think the
yeah,
build up, TikTok being a big proponent of that, the build up to the fight was insane. Even the aftermath, when we talk about hate, we talk about just reacting to things. I think the feedback loop for Netflix after that fight must have been so intense. I would not want to be somebody on the team having to shuffle through all of the feedback
I know.
from TikTok
Yeah,
and YouTube.
yeah, yeah. But I still like the amount of demand that was on the fight. I think it served as like proof of concept that they need to do more of these kind of like
Totally.
events. Yeah. But who did you think was going to win that fight?
Honestly, I think I was a part of those wishful bunch that just discredited human biology,
Yeah.
and thought Mike stood a chance. And honestly, first two rounds he did. I remember looking at my phone on the feed, and everyone was going crazy. TikTok included, everyone was going crazy after the first and second round, and then after that, it was somebody skipping around a 60-year-old guy for the next I don't know how many rounds. But
Yeah.
what
Yeah,
about
yeah.
you?
I honestly thought that Jake had it. I was actually pretty surprised also by the first 2 rounds. I'm like, man, Mike Tyson is really pulling up on this.
Yeah.
But I should also say that I'm not the biggest Jake Paul guy. It's just I remember his era with Team 10 and all of that, and it was pretty unethical. And I think unlike Logan Paul, like his reputation is not as has not embellished as much. Although now he's really seen just as a boxing guy. I think Jake Paul. I mean, I think we should talk about these two characters in like a full podcast, really, because what they did was really
Definitely.
interesting. Um,
That prime minute of itself. I mean, you want to
yeah,
talk about a brand just juicing social media. It's when we speak about organic social media notably being done properly. It's money on tap whenever they post.
yeah, 100%, 100%.
Let's
But
dive
kind of
into
like to
Black
separate.
Friday.
What's
Let's
that?
not get to Black Friday, man. We haven't talked
Yeah.
about We've been shooting the shit, talking about fights, talking about memes, having a grand
Yeah.
old time. There's a lot of. I'd be worried
Well,
to
let
see
me
the bounce rate so far.
Yeah, but let me actually, because I think a great segue into starting to talk about Black Friday and also some tactics for TikTok right now is to continue down the live stream path because Kai, it's like the biggest Twitch, one of the biggest Twitch streamer after Speed right now, has blown up with his collaboration with Jabba Wookies, I think his name is. He won the American's Got Talent dance. He was a dancer, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because collaborations on live are doing so well right now, and a missed opportunity that we see with brands trying to do TikTok Shop is going live. But most
Yeah,
importantly, as opposed to just having your affiliate go live, for the brand and the affiliate to go live simultaneously, where we can see like an authentic interaction between the two. They can talk about the product, the problems that it solves, and like we were mentioning before, people are on these. I mean, what works right now is just capturing raw emotions, and the reason that Kai and like the whole Twitch is on fire right now is because with live streams you can't really hide or edit what you're saying. And so I think as opposed to trying to make scripted videos and so on, just go live with your affiliates, or even if you're going to have target collaboration with people that might have a higher following base. Yeah, something that we don't see brands do enough of is doing collab lives to sell their products on TikTok Shop.
most definitely. I think it ties back to the people just want to see something unhinged, something raw. At the same time, it eliminates a lot of gray matter. If you're looking at this from just an educational lens, if you see somebody manipulating a product, smelling it, feeling it, showing you the what it looks like in real time, that builds a lot of trust very, very quickly. I cannot think. And again, we're surprised by some of the arguments against doing stuff like this on the front end when we're speaking to potential partners, and even on the back end when we're speaking to teams, where it's at the end of the day, if you can just show your product in an original way, in a way that allows people to trust you, you've done the bulk of the work needed for the conversion.
Yeah,
And I think lives are changing the game. Twitch is a great example of that, where
yeah,
I'd be very excited if Kai ever, I don't know if he does this already, but if he did ecom drops of merch or stuff like that,
yeah,
I'd be very excited to be on the back end of that, just to look at the Shopify numbers or whatever
yeah.
checkout platform for that matter he's leveraging, because it's just once you have trust and once you're driving that traffic,
Yeah.
it's
No,
really
he'd
hard
crush
to
it.
fail.
Because there's also a difference between being influential and having just attention.
Yeah.
And having attention through your videos is great, but one of the ways to be influential is to, sorry, let me say that again. There's a difference between getting attention and being influential. And the difference between the two is that when you are influential, people trust you. One of the
Yeah.
ways to build that trust is to engage in genuine interactions with your audience, and going live, you can't really hide yourself between fancy edits and chop out the things that makes you look bad. So this is why, again, like going live is a great way for both brands and influencers to build trust with their audience and thus be more influential.
Totally. It's very much, he doesn't go live per se, but I think that's probably one of the reasons why Joe Rogan has seen so much success over such a long period of time. It's regardless of your opinion of him or whatever, what you can't take away from him is what you're watching, that's him. Any
Yeah,
guest that hops on, it's if you want to see somebody in their true light, just see if they were on Joe Rogan and just watch the episode with Joe Rogan, and you'll get a very accurate or a
yeah,
perceived accurate picture of what they're
yeah.
like. I
And
think
people
again,
say
it
that's
floats back. Go ahead.
people. I think it was also one of the great blunders of the Kamala Harris campaign because she declined the Joe Rogan podcast,
Yeah.
and that gave Trump a platform where he could be genuine and express himself, just like you said. And Kamala refused to do that,
Yeah.
which is unfortunate because I think a lot of people, like probably the both of us, would have liked to see what she's like behind the scenes and to see her train of thought on a prolonged platform. So yeah, actually, funnily enough, like podcasts a lot of people say that a podcast kind of made this election, which is insane to think about.
Wild. Yeah, Trump and JD Vance, because JD Vance jumped on too for 3 hours. It's insane. I think they were trying to, when we speak about curated and watered down versus unhinged, in your face, funny, whatever, whatever. I think her administration, her team reached out to Joe Rogan's team and they proposed he fly to wherever they were advertising or campaigning, and she only wanted to do 45 minutes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
But
it's
I think it just shows the importance and the power that social media has, and
exactly.
it's probably a tipping point for the next elections where we're going to see so much more, just a digital footprint of these politicians. But we digress. What other tips do we have? Another cool thing that I see some brands doing is, you know how you can pin videos at the top of your TikTok feed? I've seen a number of brands make particular videos to their Black Friday announcements and pin those at the top of their profile, which means that if you're going to start a challenge or if you're going to push a certain narrative, you can one way to amplify that push is to pin them at the top, and yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. So another quick tip right now.
Definitely. I think that a huge thing too for Black Friday is, and it ties to being unhinged and creative, make a story around your Black Friday. Everybody is running discount codes. Everybody has this sale going on. That's standard. But if you can make a story or make an event out of your Black Friday, Gymshark is doing this extremely well with their teasers and switching up their brand image. I think they changed their profile picture to an orange hue or an orange color, and they did this whole countdown thing.
Yeah.
Hi Smile. Yeah, Hi Smile though. I mean, in general, for any founder or team out there looking to study a brand doing a lot of things properly on TikTok, Hi Smile is a great brand. But with Hi Smile, they made this entire narrative on their Black Friday sale where they opened up a clearance section on their website called the Vault. So everything is $5 on that vault. And they've pumped a lot of TikToks out with an angle of everyone thinks they're getting scammed or people think they're scamming us because stuff is $5. They're even hiring creators to tell people or show people how to scam the brand by buying certain products for $5 from the vault. And so it's this entire narrative of how to cheat the system manufactured by the brand. I think it's genius. Oh yeah. Yeah, I think being creative like that, again, unhinged, having fun with it.
So
Yeah, again, that's another brand where I'd be very curious to see the effect that has on their back end.
Yeah. I mean, with things like Black Friday, it's really like an opportunity for you to create this like a crazy narrative. And I find that teams spend more time in the structure of their paid ads as opposed to their organic, like organic campaigns that they could push. And really, if you go viral, your outcomes through organic are going to be exponentially better than what you could get on ads. Obviously, ads are also great, but you're never going to get like a 1 to 100 return on investment on ads. If you go viral organically, the sky is the limit.
Definitely. And it feeds into ads too. I mean, this is one of the main things that we push with any partner that we're working with. It's if you, from a creative strategy perspective, if you have something that consistently makes you money for free and generates healthy engagement, that right there is your creative flow on the paid side. All of that insight can be used to cut the learning curve and the money that you're going to spend on ads anyways to test before pushing for conversion.
Yeah.
But I think that's
Yeah.
a paradigm that's in its early stages, but there's a clear discrepancy in between the partners that we see succeeding with us and the partners that perhaps either take a longer time or don't succeed at all in their own right. It's that thing of how can this feed into that rather than this versus that.
Yeah,
It's
100%.
a prevailing theme.
Any other points about Black Friday before we move on?
Ooh, Black Friday, Black Friday, Black Friday. Post more. I think that's one thing that a lot of brands probably, there's that point of a lot of people put a huge emphasis on their paid ads and not organic. think a lot of people put a huge emphasis on trying to make the perfect video versus just putting more videos out there. And I mean, Duolingo, great example of this. Posting, I don't know, when they were ramping up, you said they were posting 6 to 7 times a day or more.
Yeah, yeah. I think they still are actually. Yeah, volume is the answer. Especially like you got to think that if you have a viral hit rate of, let's say, 1 in 10, so 1 in 10 videos goes viral. How do you ensure that you go viral more often? You post more. It's much easier to post more than to increase. I mean, it's only there's only a finite amount that you can do to increase your viral hit rate, but you can always post more.
Is
And
there
again, like TikTok videos, it's 15 seconds. You can shoot it on your phone. If you have a dedicated content creator, you can make 5 videos a day with one person, and not even full time. That's probably like half a day of work. So yeah, just do more.
Do you think this is more so an inference on my part, just given, again, a media buyer, and a social media star walk into a bar, and this is what you get, this podcast? Very much. Do you think that by posting more, you actually are able to somehow increase your hit rate, even though you're just posting more? You're not changing the videos, but somehow
Yeah.
because you have more traffic, more of those videos goes viral. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, but the more you post, the better your results you're gonna get, regardless. Because the more you post, the faster you figure out what people like, and as you post more, you continue to figure out what people. And so it's kind of like a flywheel effect. So yeah, volume is always the name of the game, and it's the key differentiator between winning accounts and the ones that end up not doing so well. That's actually like kind of a good segue to talk about one of the clients that we've helped that was a little bit skeptical about making content on TikTok. Circling back to our previous conversation, where they have very polished the brand, and came from a world of Meta and Instagram where every piece of content is super aesthetic, etc. But they came to us because their results were stagnating and they saw their competitors crush it on TikTok. So they kind of wanted to capitalize on this gold mine, and with the track record that we had, they thought that they wanted to give us a shot. This is a brand, for context, called Goldener. They sell straps for Apple Watch. Yeah, they had a hard time understanding. I mean, they had no idea what the content strategy would be or what the audience would resonate with. So what we started with was really just posting as much as we could, trying different formats, different content types. We did street interviews. We had people do outfit of the day. We did trending sounds, etc., etc. And at the beginning, we were just broad, just posting as much as we could. And we picked up a lot of momentum just out of that. And over time, we've seen certain content types that were outperforming others, and so we kind of doubled down on that, and just now narrowed down to one format that we are known for. And this account, yeah, we started completely from scratch. They have several videos, over 1 million views, and they were, I mean, I think we tripled the follower rate on the account, but most importantly, they were actually recognized by Forbes as one of the best brands in fashion accessories. So that's pretty cool.
100%. And it's for people, it's perhaps a misconception that a lot of brands do have. Do you need 1 million followers to make $100 million on TikTok?
No, actually, you'll be hard to find. I mean, you'll be surprised to find that some of the bigger accounts make less if you have a target audience. And also, like, the unique selling point of TikTok is that you can start from scratch and still go viral, unlike Instagram. On Instagram, or YouTube, you really have to grind your way through more views. Whereas on TikTok, overnight, you could get a video with a 1 million views, and that's why it's such an appeal for new brands to get on the platform.
And I mean, we see these inflection points. We have the privilege of not only seeing these inflection points, but also, manufacturing these inflection points. And we see it day in, day out, where literally in 24 hours, a brand goes from no one knows us, we're just starting out, crawling, for lack of a better way of putting it, then all of a sudden You're crawling, but you're now on an Olympic racetrack and sales are spiking. And now, how are you going to fulfill these orders just from one video? So it's very much what for a brand that probably has gone viral recently, and it's the first Black Friday that they go through. As a brand that's again in that upwards momentum, if you will, what are the things that they need to look out for to not screw up or to continue pushing on that momentum?
I think there's a lot to think about when it comes to retargeting and just thinking that TikTok is on retargeting and attribution, I want to say, because TikTok is generally just going to be one of the touch points that a consumer needs to convert. And so when you look at TikTok as a marketing venture, you need to consider that it's going to raise your Amazon sales, retail, your website sales, so on and so forth, because the consumer is actually pretty aware that you can find that you can quickly Google things to see if there's a better price for it. So one actually really cool features that TikTok released recently is a post-purchase survey, which basically asks the consumer where did they hear about the brand first. And this is something that we did internally, that we built out for most of our clients, but now TikTok just released it as their own feature, and I'm super excited about it because it has been historically a struggle to attribute where the traffic was coming from, because again, like, people would find out about us on TikTok, but only a month later would they purchase through Amazon. And so there's no real way to track that data. But now with the post-purchase survey, you can have a much better sense of the impact that your social media awareness has. And it's not negligible. So yeah, and also because they find out about you, you want to retarget your viewers. You can build lookalike audiences and custom audiences to retarget the engagement that you've had from TikTok and retarget them on Meta, Google, etc., which is something that almost no one does. And it's such a low-hanging fruit with high ROAS that, I think everyone should look into that.
We touch on Meta, and again, on the front end, when we're speaking to new brands who either have, I don't want to say messed up, but perhaps haven't cracked TikTok as a platform yet, but have Meta built out as an example, or they haven't started on TikTok, but they have Meta built out. It's very interesting just seeing how many brands aren't aware of the fact of just how versatile TikTok videos can be leveraged. Where the point of a TikTok video isn't just to stay on TikTok. If you're looking to really squeeze a creative to its fullest, you can put that thing in 6 different placements across various different channels and essentially multiply your exposure and your virality one by one.
Yeah.
It's something where, again, we talk about partners who triple their following, or overnight they see a huge inflection point in sales or in orders, or at least in opt-ins. It's one of those paradigms that, hasn't been or isn't executed on enough, and that we envision or perhaps hope starts to be applied more so in 2025. Price points. Everyone's curious. Do you need a $10 product to succeed Q4 on TikTok? Because we've seen some interesting stuff.
One of our most recent case study is a brand called 77 Diamonds, and they sell engagement rings. So you're looking at an average order value of $2,000 to $5,000. And one of the most recurring objections that we hear from potential partners is, oh, my brand is too expensive to be on TikTok. To kind of prove that point wrong, we have this case study of 77 Diamonds that sells these engagement rings, and their funnel is to push people to book an appointment, because obviously no one is going to buy a $5,000 ring from a 15-second video. However, we've been able to get that brand so much exposure. We have over 12 million views, grew their account to from 0 to 30,000 followers, and we got their appointments or their calendar booked out from TikTok. And so the point that I'm trying to make here is that you can use TikTok as a way to get exposure and then lead your audience to take baby steps within your customer journey and funnel so that they eventually become a customer. So you don't want to necessarily always push for just a sale. You can push them to sign up to a newsletter or to watch long form content. In this case, make an appointment so that they come check out the rings in real life. And now their level of engagement has significantly increased, which as a consequence increases their likelihood of purchasing. So yeah, TikTok offers you this platform where you can reach millions and millions of eyeballs essentially for free. And then the question is how do you funnel these people down so that they are more engaged and increase their likelihood of purchase.
Definitely.
So yeah, I'm so excited to have this case study, and I hope that we can kind of brag about it every time we hear that objection, because it's probably like the most recurring thing that we hear, and there are so many cases of it proving wrong. I think the other day it was a barking bag for I think 50 grand that was sold on TikTok Live. So we're just seeing a shift and increase buying power through TikTok. You know, all the fastest growing demographic is 55 and above, more purchase power, so on and so forth. So it's just limiting beliefs that brands can't sell high ticket items. But I'm happy that we have more and more proof that this is wrong.
Definitely. 77 Diamonds, I'd say, is such a great example. We had another partner, not sure if we're at liberty to say their name or not. I don't want to get served before Christmas, so I'm not going to risk it. But I mean, they're selling Rolexes through TikTok, doing like 10K a day through lives and posting, I think, 4 times a day. When you think of that ROI, I mean, it's a bit of a no-brainer. Again, everything's a no-brainer when you see the success story, but it's 4 videos a day, each at 30 seconds, and then going live for, let's say, 2 hours to sell a Rolex or the equivalent of a Rolex. It's not a bad equation.
Yeah, totally. So I think as a wrap up, the volume is the first domino in the chain. Then you want to be influenced, not just to get attention. The way you do that is by building trust, and you do that through authentic content, whether that is live or just the quality, the production of your content needs to be authentic. We can talk about that in more depth. And then, just be funny, meet your audience where they are. They want to be entertained, so entertain them. And yeah, if you do these things right, honestly, success is inevitable. Just like this crazy statistic that we were talking about, how 98% of podcasts don't make it past episode 20. If you just remain consistent, it is, almost certain that you will succeed sooner or later.
And with that, I think that's a good wrap. I think that's a good first wrap.
That's hard. Episode 1. Let's see how this goes, man. We'll do it again. Maybe better next week.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Value of disappointment, boys. Exponential returns.
Exactly. We don't expect to get results in the near term. We just need to get good at this fast.
We're here for the process, not the outcome, not the destination.
Damn right. Alrighty, man. I'll see you in the next one.
Cheers. Bye.
Ciao.